Hey everybody, hope you're having a great Memorial Day weekend. I just want to jump in and give you guys a quick update to what's going on geopolitically, more specifically over in the European theater with Russia and NATO. There's a whole bunch going on that obviously the US mainstream is not reporting on, which is why I'm here. So this is out of Sputnik News, came out on the 27th. Are NATO's massive war games on Russia's border a pretext to World War III? The West began another round of large-scale war games on Russia's border with a larger drill planned for next month, leading many to wonder whether the U.S. seeks nuclear holocaust on foreign soil or if Washington is merely sneaking subsidies to defense contractors. On Friday, 13 NATO countries deployed 10,000 troops to participate in military drills in the Baltics along Russia's eastern border, in an effort concurrent with a separate round of war games in Poland amidst growing tensions between the U.S. and Russia. The latest round of American-led saber-rattling comes ahead of an even more pronounced military exercise announced for July. The Anaconda War Games will include 31,000 troops replete with tanks, aircraft, artillery units, and missile defense systems. Some have suggested Anaconda may be a prelude to a Western invasion of Russian territory. The Anaconda War Games will take place in July along Poland's border with Russia, and will see battalions of German troops in the country for the first time since the Nazis used Poland as a pathway to invade Russia during World War II. We also have Russia Insider talking about, they're quoting Vice News actually, saying that there are 80,000 private militiamen in Poland that are training hard for war with Russia. That is on top of Poland's 120,000 strong standing army. These men and women believe Russia could launch a full-blown ground invasion at any moment, which we all know is complete bullshit. NATO and the Western bankers and the U.S. coalition, they're all demonizing Russia. They continue to call Russia the aggressor when, in fact, it is the U.S. and NATO who are provoking Russia and provoking China into starting a war. These articles are saying to boost their defense budgets, but which could be part of the case, but we all know that this is all history repeating itself, and they want to start this war to cover up the economic collapse, which is going to happen imminently. If you follow any of the guys on alternative news, such as, I'll just throw out a few names: Jim Willey, Bill Halter, Gregory Mannarino, Peter Schiff. All of these guys are coming forward saying that we are at the end of the line as far as the economy goes. We are not in a recovery. We're in a recession, if not a depression. And the stock market is being manipulated and propped up, as well as silver and gold, which just came out a few weeks ago. We all know it's bullshit. The petrodollar is completely bleeding out. The U.S. knows this, and this is why they want to go to war with Russia and China. It is all a game. It is all a theater. I'm going to read an article here out of Zero Hedge. UK to stockpile tanks, heavy equipment close to Russia's border. Following the May 12th launch of Aegis Ashore, the operational name of Washington's European missile defense system, based in Romania, which overnight swept away the tentative European nuclear arms race balance of power as it removed a Russian first strike threat, thereby pressuring Russia to implement further nuclear offensive and defensive measures. Putin was livid, and as we reported yesterday during his press conference with the Greek Prime Minister, the Russian president explicitly warned Poland and Romania that they are now in the Russian first strike crosshairs, and that Russia's most likely response would be the deployment of S-26 nuclear-capable tactical missiles. So we see that Putin is firing back at the defense, quote-unquote, defense missiles that they put up in Romania and are soon to be putting up in Poland, and Russia is coming back. They're talking about deploying their nuclear-capable tactical missiles. It goes on to say, quoted by Putin, if yesterday in those areas of Romania people simply did not know what it means to be in the crosshairs, then today we will be forced to carry out certain measures to ensure our security. It will be the same case with Poland, Putin said. We have the capability to respond. The whole world saw what our medium-range sea-based missiles are capable of in Syria, but we violate no agreements, and our ground-based missiles have also proven themselves as superb. What was most troubling was Putin's implicit warning that should NATO continue to escalate and push ever more troops into countries neighboring Russia, the Kremlin would be unable to prevent a likewise escalatory response. Quote, we've been repeating like a mantra that we will be forced to respond. Nobody wants to hear us. Nobody wants to conduct negotiations with us. This is from Putin. And then, as if on cue, NATO made an even more explicit that its primary prerogative remains to provoke Russia into an offensive move. When over the weekend, the Times reported that the British military may soon start stockpiling tanks and other heavy equipment in Eastern Europe as part of NATO's military beef-up close to Russia's border. The decision may come at the upcoming NATO summit in Warsaw in July. Okay, now I'm going to play you guys a video real quick that came out at RT News back in 2014 talking about a first strike agenda by the U.S. on Russia and China, basically talking about Romania, talking about Ukraine, talking about exactly what is happening right now. And I find this very interesting that that basically it's come to fruition. Take a listen to this.
By design or coincidence, crisis in Ukraine's provided the perfect excuse for US military control of the region. 10 days ago, the administration tested its Star Wars system for Eastern Europe, which will now be rolled out starting in Romania. Obama brands his system the stronger, smarter and swifter version of Ronald Reagan's initial Star Wars program. Under the plan, the US attacks Russia with nuclear weapons, while NATO missile defense in Eastern Europe mops up any attempted response. MSNBC News writes it's most likely and understandable Russia interprets NATO's Star Wars deployment on its borders as an unofficial declaration of war. Aerospace analysts told Global Research that US Space Command is planning a nuclear first strike on Russia as well as one on China in 2016. Bruce Gagnon of the Global Network Against Weapons in Space joins us. Thank you very much for coming on. What do we know about the first strike plans?
This is in the planning process today. The U.S. Space Command practicing engaging in a first strike attack. And this is the key element here, is that these are first strike attack planning. These so-called missile defense systems are key elements in U.S. first strike attack planning. The idea is to hit China or Russia first with a first strike, and then when they try to fire their nuclear retaliatory capability, it is then that these so-called missile defense systems would be used to pick off any retaliatory strike. So after a first strike sword is thrust into the heart of China or Russia, then the missile defense shield would be used to pick off any retaliation, giving the U.S. a quote-unquote successful first strike attacks. It has nothing at all to do with defense. It has nothing to do with freedom or democracy or any of those words that are used all the time to disguise the true intentions. It's all about full spectrum dominance.
Very interesting interview right there. I'll leave the link to this. He's going on talking about how these missile defense systems that are being set up in Romania and Poland are not defensive by any means. They're actually offensive in nature, and they're going to be used as a first strike plan on Russia and China. Is this going to happen? I have no idea. I'm just sharing this with you guys, but I find it very interesting that this is happening now 2 years later with the defense system set up in those areas over in Europe. Okay, well, that's about all I got. I'm going to do a video on what's happening over. There's a lot happening over in Syria as well. I'm going to be hopefully doing a follow-up video to that pretty soon, as well as China. We've obviously got China sending nuclear-armed submarines into the Pacific amid tensions, just a whole bunch of other stuff going on. So on that note, I hope you guys have a good Memorial Day tomorrow, and I'll see you in my next video. Take care.